Earlier this month, we spoke about the latest holiday special from the Rugrats, that being the Traditions episode of the 2021 reboot of the show, and how it blended multiple traditions into one episode. Today, however, we are taking a look at the original Rugrats, and how it tackled holiday episodes, mainly the original one, the Santa Experience, but also go through and appreciate what the Rugrats was also able to accomplish by shining a light on other traditions aside from Christmas, and giving them their own episodes as well. So yay, more Rugrats. It being one of my favorite cartoons growing up, I love going back and revisiting this series of wacky and weird adventures they would all go on, but also admire how they went out of their way to show more love to other holidays, breaking new ground for the time. So welcome back, or hello for the first time, to the 25 Days of Fringemas, where I cover something interesting, nostalgic, or holiday related every day from the 1st of December to the 25th, in order to find that holiday spirit I lost nearly a decade ago. So if you want to be a part of this daily journey and help me find that good old jolly joy, subscribe and come aboard. We start off with a Christmassy remix of the Rugrats theme song over top of the regular intro. Again, always a nice touch with a little bit of effort thrown in there extra at the start. At a toy store, Chucky tells Tommy the horrors of Christmas and how Santa is the scariest guy in the world. Tommy just says that's not true. Come on, Chucky. What's so scary about a strange man dropping through your chimney in the middle of the night to eat your cookies and leave behind proof that he broke in? I just don't see the issue. Angelica cuts in line to see Santa first and asks for so much stuff, but then questions why is he asking for what I want? He should already know what I want. So she exposes that he's not the real Santa and causes a mass upset among the rest of the kids in line. To make it right, the store gave her like every toy in the store, but just not anything that she really wanted. This also sparks Drew to be worried about Angelica's Christmas being ruined, and that she's traumatized because of what she saw. Really, she just wants better toys. Chaz as well is worried about Chucky having a good Christmas, as he doesn't want Chucky to end up having the same lackluster Christmas experiences like he did growing up. They plan on hiring a Santa impersonator to surprise them on Christmas to bring joy, as Chaz just wants to dress up and do it himself. Angelica, though, is plotting some more devious licks by trading Phil and Lil for their toys and giving them in return gifts that they can give each other. The only problem is that Phil traded his Reptar to get Lil some crayons for her coloring book, and Lil traded her coloring book to get a Reptar space helmet for Phil's Reptar. You can clearly see the problem here. And Angelica is like extra evil about it all. She basks in the glory of pulling off something so messed up. Chucky doesn't want any part of this whole Santa guy business, but Tommy says that they should catch him and ask him if he's a good or a bad guy, just to prove it. Grandpa Lou assures the kids that Santa is real, telling them how Christmas works. If you're good, you get presents. If you're not, you get coal. Good news, everyone! They want to celebrate a snowy Christmas for this year, making it special for the babies who are experiencing it for the first time. So they rented a cabin to go visit on the actual Eve and Christmas Day for the holiday. Angelica, now back at her place, is kind of thinking about the whole being bad and getting coal thing. So when she falls asleep, we enter a dream sequence like usual for her and how her conscious works, where she wakes up on Christmas to a tree full of presents, only to find coal in every single one. And she questions why this is. But ask and you shall receive answers, because big old Saint Nick appears behind her telling her what's what and how she's been bad. Alright, now I see why Chucky doesn't like this dude. That's pretty freaky. She wakes up as it was just a nightmare, now in fear that she needs to fix what she has done to Phil and Lil in time to make good. But now the real problem emerges. There's only limited time.
Don't go away. Coming up next on Nickelodeon, it's Rugrats.
The babies are back.
We open up with a title card that, rather than a second episode sequence, it just says later that day, as the families travel to their cabin in the snowy mountains. Angelica tries to tell Phil and Lil something, but every time she does, they get interrupted by adults, or by gravity. So now when she's trying to do right, she gets wronged. This divine intervention puts her in a sour mood as she can't accomplish this good deed. Tommy and Chucky plant some traps around the place to catch Santa, all but the chimney. We also see Charlotte not leaving her work at home, as she's on the phone the majority of the time at the cabin. Grandpa Lou just keeps getting hurt. I don't have more to add on to that, I'm just letting you know that he keeps getting hurt. After dinner, it's getting late, so the babies get put to bed, and it seems that Angelica's time has run out to fix the situation she's created. Both Chucky and Tommy can't stay awake long enough to catch Santa and fall asleep. The adults now all singing Christmas carols, while Charlotte's still on the phone. Chaz sneaks off to go dress as Santa. At the same time, Drew calls in to make sure the impersonator Santa is still making an appearance. Angelica, in a last-ditch effort, calls a number she overhears, another trope of hers in these situations, to to speak to Santa and ask if she's on the good list or the bad list. But the number she calls was not the right number on the phone, nor is it Santa. And the dude that answers just straight up tells her that she's on the bad list. Yeah, Angelica is awful, but you, a grown dude, told a little girl she's seen as bad in the eyes of Santa. Pretty messed up there. Even I have a big enough heart to never do that. Chaz climbs up to the roof to come down the chimney, and thanks to Stu setting off one of the traps that was set up for Santa, the babies wake up only to be scared by Chaz, who has got himself stuck there in the chimney, completely scaring Chucky so bad to the point that he has to prove that it's just him underneath the outfit, and there's nothing to worry about. So they all realize that it wasn't Santa, and everything is okay for a second, but then the Santa impersonator shows up, quickly handing everyone presents, showing Chucky that Santa's not scary, and giving Angelica an actual gift, and says trying to be good is as important as being good in the first place, acknowledging her efforts to right her wrong. He leaves and the rest of them open up their presents. Phil and Lil receive the presents that they traded Angelica for, but are happy they even cared enough about each other in general, regardless of no longer having their toys that they traded for these. But Angelica shows up and gives them their original trades back at no charge, taking the words Santa said to heart. A nice touching moment, and it's good to see Angelica do good, even if it's for the sake of getting presents. It's okay though, inside her playhouse where the car should be was instead a lump of coal, reminding her that there are still consequences for not being a good person. And just a reminder that Santa's always watching. But then Drew receives a call from the Santa impersonator. His company is called the Santa Experience. Hey, there's the name of the special. Anyway, he is out of costume at home apologizing for not making it, which confuses and shocks Drew and Chaz as to who that Santa was in the first place. Santa is then shown flying away, ending the episode. Now, while the episode by itself is great, it's nothing new story-wise we can't find anywhere else. It's just a good holiday special to watch during the season. But it's what the Rugrats would do going forward with holiday specials that would shake up what the norm was. Breaking ground as one of the first animated shows to make specific episodes that also showcase the Jewish side of Tommy's family, with holiday specials such as a Rugrats Passover and a Rugrats Hanukkah. Going further than that, the show would still have several Christmas-related episodes like Babies in Toyland, an all-grown-up special, The Finster Who Stole Christmas, as well as a newer special in the 2021 reboot Traditions, which again we covered the other week here on the channel, and that in itself focuses on more than just Christmas. And the original Rugrats also even making an episode about Kwanzaa.
The gang's all here. Stick with us. And now back to the Rugrats, all grown up.
When it comes to a Rugrats Passover, the story of Exodus is told through the babies reenacting it as the story is told to them by Boris when trapped in the attic. It also introduces the concepts of what Passover means to those asking questions within the show itself, like Angelica. This episode overall was extremely well received, scoring a 3.1 Nielsen rating, an audience measurement system that determines the audience size, thus making it the highest rated show from Nickelodeon. Also, it was nominated for a handful of awards. As far as the Rugrats Hanukkah episode, which comes a season later, it would have a similar concept of the babies reenacting the story of how Hanukkah came to be, once again told by Boris and Shlomo, his name in Hebrew meaning peaceful, who is anything but until they reconcile their issues while performing a play at their synagogue. Both of these episodes would showcase to a generation of kids to learn and respect other traditions than their own, and bring those who do celebrate other holidays than Christmas a chance to see themselves represented on screen. And that's another reason on why I love the Rugrats. Aside from being relatable through fantastical adventures the babies would go on, they never shied away from doing things differently. I went deeper into detail about my past and the way I grew up within the 2021 Rugrats Reboot Traditions special video I did, but to briefly touch on it again, as someone who was a part of and saw more traditions other than just Christmas, this show in a way helped me understand the stories and experiences from another perspective, which no matter who you are or where you're from, what you do or don't celebrate, respecting and understanding those differences is what brings us all together, and to me, what the holiday season should be about, coming together and spreading the joy of life and learning from our past or something you may not be familiar with in general. A blue border.
Listen to the spirit.
What does that mean? Anyway, out of all the Rugrats holiday specials, which one was your favorite or resonates the most with you? Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter. I'll see you tomorrow with another video for my next day of Fringemas. Check out the playlist to keep up with the month. But until then, later.